Ever wonder why your voice feels shaky or you feel nervous, even when you know what you're talking about? Our breath will hurry us, it will push the words, rush them out of our mouth. But God's breath, it's okay with a slow drip, the pause, the tension, the silence in between the sentences. His breath carries weight and it carries authority. You desire to have a platform. And for so many people, not only do you desire to have the platform, but you desire to be viewed a certain way. And the moment you are desiring to be viewed a certain way, as you're speaking, you're now managing the expectations of your audience. You now need to say the right thing to get them to think something about you that you probably don't believe or think about yourself. You're attempting to hold up this image. And so you want to speak about what it is you know, because you're good at what you do and you know your topic through and through, but you are caught up in the perception of what others think about you, that as you are speaking, you are managing their thought process. You can't do both of that at the same time. And that is why your voice gets stuck in your throat. Your breath gets stuck in your throat, so your voice gets stuck in your throat. It is our breath that gets the words to move out of us. It is our breath that kind of comes up from here and allows our words to flow. But if you are only going on how you are viewed in this perception and trying to be perfect and trying to say the right words, your voice is getting stuck because your breath is getting stuck. And now you're having to push it out because your focus in that moment isn't on serving your audience and delivering the message that they need to hear that you know solves their problem. You're focused on, what are they thinking about me? I need to make sure they think this about me. So that means I have to say it like this and I have to do it like that. And I got to do this and I got to do that. And you're focused on the wrong thing. And wherever your focus goes is where your energy will flow. And so if you're focused on that, then you're not focused on your delivery of how they are going to pick up that message, which should only be to serve them, not to be how you look. Here's the beauty about when we are speaking from our experience and not speaking from our intellect or speaking from just what we know or speaking from just something we heard and we're trying to regurgitate a message online. When you're just regurgitating, you are pushing that message out there. And I've got some steps here that I'm going to give you to help you understand how to actually show up online and be in a calm state. Be in a calm state of authority, because it's not just about your voice. It is all about the Holy Spirit taking over your voice. And if you're anything like me, your intellect has often gotten in the way. Everything has had to make sense because there is a part of you that needs to make sure that you're making sense to other people. God never tried to make sense for other people. When we really look at how Jesus moved in the Bible, he never tried to make sense to anyone. He just said, follow me. You come, you come. You don't, you don't. We have to understand that our message isn't meant for everyone. The things that we say, the things that we speak online is not meant for everyone. We cannot serve everyone. We're not supposed to. I would say, you want everyone to like you, but let's be real, you don't even like everyone. So when it comes to serving our audience, we got to realize that part of our job, our message is to attract, but it is also to repel, because we don't want everybody in our audience. But when you are people pleasing and you're trying to please the audience and massage their feelings based on what you're saying, you're attracting the wrong people. You're attracting everyone, and you're not attracting anyone who is ready and willing to pay you for your ability to solve their problem. You are attracting people who aren't ready, who are still confused, who don't have the level of awareness that you even need them to be at in order to be truly served by you. So your voice is connected to the sensations that you're having in your body. And if you are saying words that aren't true, because what you're attempting to do is manage what they are thinking, so you kind of have to finagle what you say, or you got to say it a certain way. You're managing too many things other than them just getting the message, other than serving them, other than them getting their problem solved. You're trying to manage the wrong thing. So I want to give you these because it's so essential and they're super simple. But because they're simple, don't overlook them. This is a game changer when it comes to having a calm authority online. There are a lot of people on here that are screaming. They're screaming their message. And what they're really screaming for is attention. They're screaming for visibility. If you have to scream for visibility, then you don't really have it. If you have to scream to get influence, then you don't really have it. There's no effort when you are influencing someone with your words. There's no, I got to try to do this. It doesn't work like that. Influence is a natural byproduct of you being completely embodied and convicted in your ability to serve someone and your ability to do that selflessly without worrying about what you get out of the deal. You're going to get something out of the deal because that's just a byproduct of how business works. It's an exchange. But if you're only focused on what you get out of the deal, then your audience can feel that, and now you're repelling the right people. So here's some things that I started asking myself to make sure that, one, I was deeply embodied in what I was saying and that I was really allowing room for the Holy Spirit to come through. Because it's so easy to get caught up in our intellect. It's so easy to have our intellect override the true nature of the Holy Spirit wanting to guide our words in the marketplace. You can't be so consumed with what others think of you because that's not what we're here for. You're not here for that. You're not here to make people like you. You're here to service them. And that means not enabling them. It means not saying something to keep them stuck. Not saying you're intentionally doing that, but as a byproduct of you not truly expressing the message God has put inside of you, the way that He put it inside of you to say, because you're managing what other people think about you, you're enabling them to stay stuck. You're enabling them to stay exactly where they are. And that's not what we signed up for when it comes to business. And it's certainly not what we signed up for to serve the kingdom. So let's get into it. First question, Lord, what would you have me say? I told you these were simple, but don't sleep on them. Lord, what would you have me say? When you ask Him what He would have you say, listen. Wait for the message. Wait for the phrase. Wait for the revelation. Wait for the insight. And when you get that insight, don't pull back and go, ooh, I can't really say it like that. Don't try to finagle it so that it sounds good to other people. When He tells you to say something, say it like that. Say it that way. Don't put it through the filter of, I need these people to like me. Don't put it through the filter of, I think saying it like this is going to get more likes. Do we want to optimize for human nature? Do we want to optimize for how people view our content? Yes, we do want to optimize for that. But we're not doing that at the expense of changing the message completely to try to get something from people. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Because when He tells you to say something and He tells you something specific, say it like that. Say it exactly like that. Because if you try to finagle that so it sounds good to other people, you're leading them astray. The next, if you weren't worried about pleasing others, how would you say it? If you weren't worried about pleasing others, how would you say it? Sometimes God has not necessarily given you a phrase, but He's given you a revelation. And if you are new to my channel, I always talk about contemplation. I always talk about when it comes to delivering our message, it is not just about, all right, I got an insight, let me go speak about it. Contemplate on it first. Contemplation is actually how you build connection with your audience. Contemplation builds connection because you have spent time contemplating on what matters to them, time contemplating on how this is showing up in their day-to-day life. You spent time contemplating on all the ways that they've tried to solve their problem that didn't work. All the ways that they have tried to solve their issue and fell short. So when you get an insight and you get a revelation and God reveals something to you, whether about you, about whatever industry that you are in, when He does that reveal, contemplate. I always have all of my clients free write. My clients free write most daily, some every other day, but it's really consistent because it's how they get their creativity out from here and here onto paper. So they are bringing to life their message. They're not always looking for, well, what is a template I can use to say the right thing? They're not looking for that. They are thought leaders. They are people with stories and messages that they are moving into the marketplace to move others into action so that others can better their life. But they do that through contemplation first of the revelation that they have received. And so it's like, how would you have me say it? If you weren't trying to please anybody, you weren't trying to get somebody to like you, how would you say it? Because you got to be okay with people not liking you. I think it was Oprah that I heard say, if you can't handle one person not liking you, you can't handle 1,000, and then you can't handle a million. If you are desiring a platform, you've got to get used to people not liking you. And sometimes your platform isn't growing because you're not good yet at having people not like you. It's still jostling you up on the inside. It's still stirring you too much. You wouldn't be able to handle more people not liking you. So if you can't handle more people not liking you, then you're not going to grow a bigger business because that's part of the game. You got to have these daggers coming at you and you not flinch. You got to have people saying things about you and you not flinch. So this boils down to being able to say things with a small platform right now that you might have, that I have currently. I have, at the time of making this video, I think 320 subscribers, right? And so it's like, are you okay with people not liking you? The few that you got right now. What if it's 10? What if it's 20? What if it's 30? What if somebody made a complete post about you and was like, what you're teaching is bogus? What if someone said that? How would you respond? How would you react? If you're too stirred up that you need to come back at them, then ask yourself, do you think you're really ready for a bigger platform? That stuff shouldn't be stirring you up. Now, we're human. We're going to feel something, but we shouldn't be like trying to crawl back into a hole because of it. Absolutely not. We are here to be able to impact people, not here to impress people. All right. So, are you repeating what you heard, or are you sharing what you've experienced? So many people are repeating and regurgitating what they've heard about the subject matter that they are helping people with, rather than teaching and sharing from their experience. When you are only repeating what you've heard, you are sounding robotic. You are sounding like a textbook. You're sounding disconnected, disembodied. You might know logically what you're talking about, but the experience of your wisdom with that topic isn't coming through because you're just repeating what you know. And this is also why you'll feel nervous, is because there's a part of you that hasn't gone through that contemplation phase, that embodiment phase, the phase where you don't need a prompt, you don't need a script, you don't need anything because it's your experience. You have the insight already. It's in you. You don't have to reach somewhere to go get it. You don't need the podcast questions ahead of time. You don't need anything because it's your topic. It's your subject matter. So you should know something about it to be able to speak on it, and speak on it with confidence without needing all these prompts, all these promptings. Okay? All right. Next is to have an outline. Now, if you're creating content, Instagram, if you've got a podcast, if you've got YouTube channel, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Video, this is mainly for video because writing comes a bit differently. With writing, there's a lot of edits and stuff you can go through if you're doing articles on Substack. But if you're doing video like here on YouTube, or you're doing audio like on a podcast, or you've got a YouTube podcast or a video podcast, I think that's what that's called. I want you to realize that having an outline is helpful. I have my points written down, but I'm not looking down every 2 seconds at my points because the stuff is in my brain. The stuff is in my experience. The stuff is the stories that my clients have, the stories I have, the stories I've heard from other people in masterminds that I've been in, that it's experiential. So have an outline. And then once you have an outline, know your points and make room for him. Know your points and make room for him. When you have an outline and you're not tethered to having to say something in the exact way, you make room for him to enter. Now, there are certain points that you might want to make that you might want to laser in on. And if that's the case, it's great. It's fine. Maybe you got a mic drop moment, a mic drop point. I want you to be able to practice that. That's the other bullet point here, is to practice saying those mic drop moments so your body gets used to speaking it, so it doesn't feel foreign. If you listen to some of the best speakers, they repeat themselves. They say the same thing, but guess what? You're never tired of hearing them. You're never tired of hearing them say the same thing over and over and over again because you always get something different when they speak. They say that no man, or what does that say? Oh my gosh, it just escaped my mind. No man in a river is ever the same. Oh, this is going to bother me now. I'm not even going to edit this out. No man in a river is ever the same because the river is flowing and the man is not the same. Anyways, I will drop it in the comments after this because it totally has escaped my mind. But you get what I'm saying, right? Anytime you hear one of your speakers that you enjoy listening to say something, it's okay that they have said the same thing because the way that you are hearing it is different because you are different. You are different. And the way that they might be delivering it, although it's the same, their energy about it is different. People become more anchored and more embodied over time. And so you want to just take a look at, well, where is it that you haven't quite practiced your points? What are your anchor points that you might say? I always say that we are here to make content for a movement, not content for a moment. That is an anchor statement that I say. That is a part of my brand. It's a part of my mission of how I know the clients I work with, that's what they desire. They're here to make legacy content, which the name of my program is Content Legacy. We're here to make legacy content. I once heard a pastor say, legacy is not what you leave for someone, it's what you leave in someone. You see, I just gave you my point right there. That is a quotable. These are the points that you practice. So you have these anchors to pull from no matter what platform you're on. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're in person, having a conversation, whether you're on stage, you're on your podcast, or you're a guest on someone else's podcast. You want to have these go-to phrases that help to anchor you, that help to solidify you in that experience of whatever it is you are teaching. So practice the points so that they don't feel foreign to you. And when you practice that, your body gets on board. Even though you know what you're talking about, even though it's your experience, if you haven't practiced how you're saying it, then it's going to come across like you don't know what you're talking about. Even if you do know what you're talking about, because of how you're talking about it, because you just haven't practiced hearing your own voice say the words. It's not an accident when you see people speaking. It's not an accident when they evoke emotion in you. It's not an accident that you walk away feeling empowered. You walk away feeling uplifted. You walk away with insight. It's not an accident at all. This is practice. So if you want to speak calmly with authority, even if you feel nervous, you've got to ask yourself those questions. But the biggest takeaway of them all is to make room for the Holy Spirit. When Moses was leading the Israelites out of Egypt, he said to God, he was like, I'm not an eloquent speaker. God said, I will teach you what to say and I will help you speak. Exodus 4:12. That right there lets us know that we don't need to have it all perfect, but we need to have that skill and then allow God to utilize that skill, but not let that skill get in the way of trying to sound too perfect. You got to understand that part of the reason too, this just came to me, I'm not going to edit that part out where I forgot. I literally can't even think of it still, right? Because I didn't plan on saying that in this video, but it was coming through. I'm just showing you like I'm flowing with it and I don't edit my videos. So what you see here, it's real, it's raw. I'm having a conversation with you. I'm not here to be perfect. Sometimes it just slips me because it wasn't on my radar to even say, but it came through. And so that hiccup, if you will, in this video, it just is what it is. And if you decide not to watch my videos because of that, it's also fine. You've got to be okay. You've got to be okay with people not liking everything about you. That's honestly how your platform grows, and it's how you speak calmly because you're no longer caring about what people think about you. You're no longer trying to manage their thought about you. And so if you don't want your voice to get stuck in your throat, you make room for the Holy Spirit and you stop managing other people's expectations. I'm someone that grew up with a terrible stutter. I couldn't even say my own name. So I would consistently manage what other people were thinking about me because my stutter was so bad. I could barely get so many words out before just tripping over my letters. And then I couldn't think about the next sentence because I was tripping over my letters. I was trying to manage what others were thinking about me, making sure that I sounded professional or that I sounded eloquent enough or I sounded a certain way to be deemed as credible. Because my stutter was bad, I thought something of me in that moment. And so it caused me to try to manage the way that I speak, so much so that my intellect got in the way. And I tried to memorize everything that I would ever speak online. That's why I don't edit my videos. I just have trained myself in this moment to be in a free flow. Yeah, I have my points, but I've trained myself to be in a free flow because if I'm on stage anywhere, you don't get a do-over. There's not like a pause button. There's not something to tell my audience, okay, rewind, pretend like that didn't happen. But if you do mess up, you do make a funny, something does happen, you got to learn how to roll with it. That's part of speaking calmly. It's letting the Holy Spirit in, not trying to manage their expectations and recognizing ain't nobody expects you to be perfect. And that's the point. And that's the beauty about having a platform. It's the beauty about delivering a message. And I want that for all of you. And if this is something that you are looking to do, which is improve the way that you speak, improve the kind of content that you are creating that is truly authentic, I want you to join me inside of Content Legacy. I will post a link down below for you to apply. It is my signature 6-month program. It's going to allow your message to come alive in the marketplace. And we're going to make sure that you are authentic in the way that you're saying and that you're deeply embodied in what you're doing, in what you're saying. And we develop your content in a way that it leaves a legacy in someone. It allows people to feel the desire to pay you because the content that you are delivering, they can tell, they can feel that you are truly here to serve them. I trust that this video has served you and blessed you, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.